Hi, this is a crate that I made from a scene. I used Substance Painter to do all my materials, or all my textures for all the stuff in the scene. And I just want to show my processes since this is a little different than some of the tutorials I've seen. When this comes in, it came in like this. It's a pretty basic deal. Bevels in some of the corners. Trim pieces are just pretty straightforward. You can get an idea of the wireframe. But anyway, so I made my high poly in 3 Max, baked my low poly in XNormal, created a normal map, and brought that in with an AO, a curvature, world space normal, and a position. The position was baked in 3ds Max. There's a script for that, and I think there's one for Maya also. But basically, I just created a top-down gradient, and I think if I highlight this, you'll be able to see it. So, anyways, white's on the top, black on the bottom, and it's just for substance effects. And you can see those there. And the substance effect is added either to a mask or a material. A lot of times I use the substance effect on the mask itself, and I'll bring a material as a fill layer and mask that off to paint out or paint in, depending on my desire. A lot of times I'll create my own material, something like, say, maybe I want a galvanized metal. I'll add a fill layer, and it's white. And then I'll take a texture that I prepared in Photoshop. And this is just the tiling galvanized base color. I'll drop it on the base color there. If I want to remove it, I can. But I'll drop it here. Probably won't have any height. It's just a flat metal. Roughness, I'm going to actually use the Don't Nod reference. It's floating around. Whoever put this together, thank you. It's awesome. It gives a great roughness value for Unreal, along with helping explain what PBRs are. So if you don't have this, I suggest you get it. It gives you good values here, and I can expand this up and give an idea of you can see as you change the values, the metal becomes less reflective or rougher. So anyway, I use that for reference so that I have a good base. And the other thing is I make it metallic since it's going to be a metal. One thing you can notice, the pattern is it's pretty low res, and because of the UVs, I may want to tile those a little. So maybe like something like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 2. But you know, at this point, it's going to be personal on what look you're trying to go for. But you can see now it actually reads a little better like galvanized metal. So anyway, that's how I create a material. For this piece, I started with a red painted steel, which is just as a painted steel material changing the color. So I'll get on that layer, and I change that down here in the color. You can add scratches, You could add rust, things like that. You may want to tile it. It's all going to depend on what effect you're going for. On this one, I turned off the height just because I was going more for like a toolbox look, and I didn't want a bumpy surface. Next, I added a metal for the trim piece, and these are just, it's another fill layer. The material is just steel. I add a black mask, and then I select pieces that I want to be that material by either white to select it or black to paint it out. So say like on this handle piece, if I want that to be one of the pieces, I can take and pick it at the object level and pick it, and it turns the whole object to that steel. If I don't want it, I can just paint it black, and it changes the mask. I can pick faces, or I can unpick them. So pretty straightforward. I basically start with materials, start building up. You can see some of the trim pieces. This piece was the sides and the little round parts. I add some screws, which are just a height map on that channel. And when I'm painting them, I turn off the roughness, the height, all those, and just have a height image. So you can come in and paint something like that. And then if I don't want to use that, I can take it out. I can just paint with a brush. Or I can change the alpha of the brush and get something rougher. So, pretty straightforward. Negative is down, positive is up. So, anyway. And then the next layer on this piece was I added some scratches along the edges and these round pieces. So for the scratches, this was just another material, and this is just a straight material. It's not a fill layer. If I do a fill layer, it will fill the whole thing. If I add just a layer, I can paint. And I came in with my material and painted it away. So I can pick, let's pick just steel. Give it a moment to compute here. And let's say sandpaper. And I could wear that away. If I want to have a different material, you can see where I got. So that's kind of how I painted the edges and added that. Now when I get to the dirt was a fill layer, and what I have is this tiled almost 5. I had a black mask, and the mask got a substance effect, and these are where the bake maps come into play. So this one's using the curvature and ambient occlusion. If I want a different effect, say ground dirt, it uses a position map. And this one, the levels will be how thick, and the height is going to be how far up this goes. So, and that's using that position map, which is just a black and white, with white being at the top and black at the bottom. And like I said, I think I said, this was baked in 3ds Max. There's a script floating around Polycount, and if you go to script spot, it should be there. So, anyways, I do believe there's one for Maya 2, but I'm not real sure. So, anyway, so that's how this was made. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.